I've studied foreign parts and their costs because I have to know, right? That's my business. And there are some parts that are being made in China, and the cost of that finished product is roughly the cost of my raw materials if I were to make it in this country. So you think, okay, you know, aluminum and most materials are globally priced. You know, it's the same all over the globe. What gives here? How can they do that? I don't frankly know the answer to that, but I know I know they're not working for nothing. What I'm guessing is that China is getting subsidies for their production over there, such that they could sell stuff so cheap, and it's crazy.
Well, in some ways, our government's penalizing us. This is something I've never really thought about. I try not to spend my time worrying about things I can't control as much as I can, and I always feel like I can't control the government, so I try not to go there. But now that you mention it, you know, the wages they pay overseas are a small fraction of what we pay here. And we don't want to pay our employees these teeny little wages where they can't put food on their table. As a matter of fact, we're regulated with minimum wage and what we have to pay and what we need to provide to our employees and what we have to pay our government. They don't have that over there. So how would it be messing with the free trade if you did impose some sort of sanction that made up for some of that difference? Because those differences are coming from a lot of places. I mean, that's just one that my simple brain can figure out. But I don't think there's anything unfair about you know, putting some sort of penalty, you know, wage adjustment factor on imports or something like that.
They're preparing for world dominance. They're not out to be nice guys. And I've never ever understood why we hopped in bed with China and started, you know, being buddies with them. I've never understood it. Our toughest challenge is it's real easy. It's real easy to source something locally and in America. They speak our language and know our culture. Our toughest challenge is adding up the costs for a new assembly, be it, you know, a transmission, engine, whatever. Our biggest challenge is the end cost of that unit to produce in America, and then, you know, in return, the price structure to establish dealer and retail. You know, if you're making something in America, the price, it's a price penalty, if you will. I don't see it as a penalty, I just see it as a cost of doing business. But as far as working with sources, there are no hassles or problems. It's push button.
Every now and then you'll run into an industry where the international competition or overseas companies have kind of driven all the American suppliers out, though.
Yep.
Not in all cases, but I remember a struggle with one particular bearing for one particular transmission, trying to find one that's made here. And I mean, if you look hard enough, long enough, call enough companies, and you're willing to pay for it, you can find it. But sometimes that, with different components like that, you'll find that everyone made in the USA has been driven out of business, scared out of business, or you know, it's almost priced out of business. Look at any time this country's been in big recession or the Great Depression, what ultimately brought the country out of it, and it's been manufacturing every time. If I'm not mistaken. I mean, this country has always, you know, made its way by being able to make its goods and sell them. And that's changed. I think this one's going to be harder to dig out of because the manufacturing base is still so weakened and struggling. And
it takes so many years to develop a competent manufacturing base. So once it's gone, And if someone wakes up tomorrow and decides to rebuild the manufacturing base, it may take 15 to 20 years. Baker Drivetrain is 10,000% times more competent in what we do than where we were 10 years ago. I mean, 10 years ago, I look back and go, oh my God, you know, it was pretty crude, you know. Our products today are, you know, first class and top shelf, and internally, the way we maintain and monitor dimensions, the very critical dimensions, is just light years beyond what we used to do. That takes time to develop that in-house competency, you know. And people need to wake up and start supporting American manufacturing before it's all gone, because when it's all gone, just like I was talking, it's going to be a bitch to bring back. Even worse, in my little one-horse town, we, in the last year, got a dollar store, what do you call it? Pawn shop, a consignment boutique, and a medical marijuana store. And that's been the economic expansion in my little town of 10,000 people. Now you tell me, is that a formula for a strong community, for a strong economy? I think not. I think it's a frickin' joke.
But at the same time, how many little mom and pop type shops, because that's the town that we live in, is little mom and pop dress store, gift store, this
Yeah.
and that store. Now there's empty store window available
Yep.
for lease, restaurant gone. You know, so those kinds of mom and pop businesses are moving out, and then we get this little strange ones.
Yeah, strange ones. And you know, people now drive, you know, 10 miles to you know, the box stores, and you waste 20 minutes talking to a 19-year-old kid that doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground, and you're asking him about questions on a $1,500 flat screen TV, and he don't know how to wipe his own ass. So, you know, I'm so frustrated with the competency of the people who work in box stores, and furthermore, they don't care, you know. It's just, you can tell I'm frustrated. You can't depend on anybody in a box store anymore. So if you're forced to go to a box store, not Walmart, or let's say another one, and you buy an electronics product, the only way to buy these days is to do your own research online, make yourself smart, walk in the damn store and say, I want that one. This is where we're going as a company. We will continue to purchase all of our components and get them manufactured in America. I would say our American purchase rate is about 98%. There are 2% that come overseas. Of those 2%, we're working right now to make them go away such that we're 100%. Like Lisa said, in 2% of the case, all the competent manufacturing in this country has been lost. To be all American made, it is my hope that people support what we do. In other words, everybody out there, when it comes time to buy a 5 or 6 speed or a clutch or a primary, whatever, you know, at least consider us as a choice. And when you write down the product and the cost and, you know, an overseas equivalent, think about that cost differential and what it could do to the America you live in. If you don't give a rat's ass about America, then go ahead and buy the overseas unit, but I'd recommend you get the fuck out of my country, okay? But if you care about America, if you like camping in our state parks, if you like using our highways and our infrastructure, you need to support what we have going on here, because mark my words, we have the best country in the world. I've traveled. I've been to Japan, Germany, Italy, Mexico. We have the best country in the world, and it might not be like that forever. It could be, we could turn into a third world country 200 years from now. I don't want that for my successors, my children, grandchildren. On a personal level, I'm a Corvette man. I like my Corvettes. I also admire Porsches, you know, Italian cars. I admire everything over there. I have a lot of respect for what the Germans do. Would I like an all-wheel drive twin-turbo Porsche? Hell yeah. They're very fine cars. They're good cars, well designed, but I will never buy one for the simple reason that I can't send my money over there. I don't want to. I will continue to buy American-made products in my hardware store, American cars, and I will just try to convey that to my children, which they got the message loud and clear. We have 20 people in-house, and because we can be very, very small and lean as a company because of that, if we were to do everything that is done, if we were to do that in-house, Baker Drivetrain would be about 90 to 100 people. So with our suppliers and us, 90 to 100 families are impacted by what we do here.